What's the most terrifying thing your child has done without realizing the danger? My 6-year-old daughter Eve starts asking if she can eat her lunch outside on our back deck, and honestly, I'm thrilled. The whole reason my husband and I bought this house was for the gorgeous private forest that backs right up to our yard. We're talking about 47 acres of untouched wilderness with no neighbors for 3 miles in any direction. Eve had always been more of an indoor kid, so when she suddenly develops this interest in the outdoors, I'm not about to discourage it. She drags her little plastic plate of chicken nuggets and apple slices out to the picnic table, and I watch her through the kitchen window while I do dishes. She seems happy, swinging her legs and looking around at the trees while she eats. The weather's been gorgeous lately, mid-70s and sunny every day, so why wouldn't she want to eat outside? When she comes back in with her empty plate, I ruffle her hair and tell her I'm proud of her for trying something new. She just smiles and runs off to play. But then it becomes every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Eve insists on eating outside. Rain or shine, 45 degrees or 80 degrees, she wants to take her food to that picnic table. At first I think it's cute that she's so committed to this new habit, but then I start noticing something. When I call her in after 20 minutes, her plate is still completely full. Not a single bite taken. Eve, you haven't touched your food, I tell her, and she just shrugs and says she wasn't hungry. But the next morning when I go to collect the plate I forgot outside, it's spotless. Like literally licked clean. My husband thinks I'm overthinking it. Maybe she's eating when you're not watching, he suggests. But I know my daughter. She's the slowest eater on the planet, taking 45 minutes to finish a sandwich on a good day. There's no way she's suddenly become a speed eater who cleans her plate in the 5 minutes between when I stop watching and when she comes inside. Something is very, very wrong with this situation. The breaking point comes when I get a call at work from our nanny, who sounds genuinely concerned. I need to ask you something. Has Eve been eating lately? Because she hasn't touched a single bite of food all day. And when I ask her about it, she just says she's not hungry. I feel my stomach drop to the floor. What do you mean she hasn't eaten anything? Our nanny explains that Eve took her breakfast outside as usual, came back in 10 minutes later but left a full plate, then did the same thing with lunch. No snacks, no requests for different food, nothing. I tell her I'm leaving work immediately and drive the 30-minute commute home in 20 minutes, my mind racing through every horrible possibility. When I get home, I find Eve sitting in the living room watching Bluey like nothing's wrong. Sweetheart, you haven't been eating your food. Are you feeling sick? Does your tummy hurt? She looks at me with those big brown eyes and says, I'm fine, mommy. I just like eating outside better. But clearly she's not eating outside or anywhere else. That night, I order security cameras and install them the next morning while Eve's at school. I position one camera pointing directly at the picnic table and another aimed at the tree line where our yard meets the forest. If she's dumping her food somewhere or doing something weird with it, I'm going to find out. The first day of recording shows exactly what I expected. Eve carries her plate outside, sits at the table for maybe 10 minutes without touching anything, then comes back inside. But here's where it gets interesting. About 10 minutes after she goes inside, this golden retriever-looking dog emerges from the forest, hops onto the picnic table, and devours every single crumb on her plate before disappearing back into the trees. The dog appears to be well-fed and healthy, definitely not a stray. I'm completely baffled because we don't have any neighbors close enough for a dog to wander over, and this guy is clearly coming from the forest. When Eve comes inside that evening, I casually mention, hey sweetie, I noticed there's a dog visiting our backyard. Do you know anything about that? Her face lights up like Christmas morning. Oh yes, that's my friend. He's really hungry, and he likes my food better than I do. The next afternoon, I decide to see this mysterious dog for myself. I follow Eve outside and watch as she sets her plate on the table, then sits in the grass about 10 feet away. He's shy around grown-ups, she whispers, but if we're really quiet, he'll come out. Sure enough, after a few minutes, I hear rustling in the bushes. What emerges from the tree line makes my blood turn to ice. Turns out the cameras are literal garbage. That's not a golden retriever. That's not even a dog. I'm staring at what is unmistakably a wolf walking straight toward my 6-year-old daughter who's been feeding it for weeks. I scoop Eve up and call wildlife services immediately. Turns out my daughter had been feeding a lost wolf for a month. She cried when they relocated him because she missed her puppy.